Hello, I hope everybody's having a blessed day today. I just want to share a dream that I had last night with everybody that confirms just how short of a leash that God has Satan on, that he can only go so far and do so much, and he's only going to get a chain and pull him back, and he can't do no more. And he's mad, and that's why he's attacking God's people so much, trying to get them off of the path that God has them on. It's really confirmation of what I've been sharing, but it was a really interesting and funny dream at the same time. It was funny and then it was interesting, but it explains a lot, and it really explains a lot, and it shows a lot of what God is doing, in the times that we're in now. It really just sheds light on what he's doing and how he's doing it and stuff like that. It really explains it to me anyway. But in the dream, I was sleeping, and my bedroom door opened up, and I woke up and I looked up to see who it was, and it was this evil spirit that was in a form of a man, when it didn't have any clothes on. It was nude. And I grabbed my cell phone and started running around the house, and it tried to get out the front door. It ran to the front door trying to get out, and it was just shaking the doorknob frantically, and trying to get the door open, and it couldn't get the door open, and it kept shaking it and jiggling it, shaking it and turning it and shaking it and trying to get out, and it couldn't. So it ran into my guest bathroom, and I ran after it, and I knew in my mind, I said, I know he's gonna throw my phone in the toilet. I said, I gotta get my phone from him before he does that. And I grabbed it from him before he did that. And I told him, you're not going to have my phone. And I took it and I went out of the bathroom. And he ran out of the bathroom and started running around all over the house, frantically acting crazy. And just, it was crazy. It was crazy and funny at the same time. But then I woke up and I thought, Lord have mercy. I said, God, this shows, the enemy is just frantic. He's frantic, and he's in a panic, and he's trying to, just do all that he can to get people off of God's path, because he knows what's up ahead, like I've shared before, is really big. And this just shows it more and more. The more that God reveals to me things like this, it just shows me more and more, just how big and huge that the plans are that he has for us, that are, up ahead and not very far off, that are really, really close. For me to have dreams like this, constantly like this, over and over again, and that are pointing to the same thing. And, that's what God is saying through this. He's trying to get our attention and show us, look, I've got something big for you, but the enemy's going to come at you and try to distract you and try to get your mind off of what I have you to do. And you can't allow him to do that. He's frantic, and he's panicking, and he's scared, and he's trying to, do all that he can to get us off of God's path, and we can't allow him to do it. We have to stay on the path that God has us on, because what he has up ahead for us is really big. Oops, I want to shake this thing. But it was really interesting to me, it was like, and it also explains how he's exposing the schemes that the enemy has, that he's not allowing him to hide what he's doing anymore. He's exposing more and more, of the enemy's schemes to his people and to his children, so that we know what's going on, so that we know what's ahead. It's more like a heads up he's giving us. It's more like a heads up. He's saying, he's showing us what's coming up ahead and what the enemy's planning. He's showing us, he's opening up to us more and more every day. And that's also what the dream shows too, that he's exposing him. He's exposing his schemes. He's exposing the enemy's plans, so that we will know what's up ahead. We'll have the wisdom and the knowledge that we need, so that we can pray against it and we can come against it, and the enemy won't win. That we'll have the victory. We'll have what God wants us to have, because we'll have our eyes fixed on him, and we'll know what the enemy is planning up ahead for us to try to derail us and get us off of God's path. But that dream was really interesting. It showed so much. It really explained also that what God has for us up ahead is really big. This ain't small. It's obviously mega, because he's been showing me this a lot lately through dreams. And that, when God gets on a pattern like that, when he starts showing you things, and showing you things not just in dreams, but in visions also, when he starts showing you things like that, and he just keeps, revealing it more and more, and he's focusing on a certain thing, like exposure, and what the enemy is doing and what he's planning is something to pay attention to, because it's saying that he has something really big. And we can't allow the enemy to, throw us off the path that God has us on. We have to stay on the path that God has us on, so that we will know what we're, where we're going and what we're going to do and what God has for us to do, because he's going to reveal that to us, in the time to come. when he moves us into the things that he has for us to do, which are coming soon. I'm telling you, these things I believe are on the horizon. They are really coming soon, because he's been showing me this a lot lately, and it just points to one thing, exposure, and the plans that he has for us, and that he's showing us, and that he's bringing to us through our dreams and through our visions. But we have to pay attention to those so that we know what's going on. But I just wanted to share that, because to me it's really interesting, and it just shows that God has him on a leash. He's only letting him go so far. He thinks he can go as far as he can go, but God's only letting him go so far. That's why he couldn't get out of my front door, and he was jiggling the doorknob trying to get out, because he has no way of escape. He can't escape. God always shows us, and he gives us a way of escape always. No matter what situations and circumstances we get in, we always have a way of escape, but the enemy don't. And that's what God's revealing, through that also, is that he has no way of escape. He cannot escape God's wrath. He can't escape what God has for him, no matter what he does. No matter what schemes he tries to pull on God's children. He can't avoid it. And that's what makes him mad too, and coming at God's people so much, especially in the days and the times to come, that he's been doing this and been coming at God's people. But it just shows, keep your eyes on Jesus, because I'm telling you, what's up ahead, and it's on the horizon. It's coming soon. I believe it really, really is, because, the more that God reveals to me this, through my dreams lately, what he's been showing me in such just profound ways, and through profound things that he's, visions and dreams that he's been showing me is really showing us what's to come. He's giving us a heads up. He's showing us what's up ahead. He's showing us things that the enemy's going to try and throw our way. But we can dodge those things. We can avoid those things, because God's showing us how. He's giving us the tactics, and he's giving us the tools that we need to avoid it. And he's showing us the way to avoid it. He's showing us how to avoid it. He's revealing it to us more and more every day. So we have to pay attention to those things, because they're important. They're very, very important. But I just want to share this with everybody, because I found it really interesting, and I'm just so thankful to God, that he does that he loves his children so much that he reveals things to us like that, because he loves us, and he wants us to know what's going on, and he's exposing the enemy more and more every day, and the enemy's plans. He really, really is. I mean, I've seen it lately so many times, and it's really amazing. It is really amazing, but I'm just excited to see what God has up ahead, because I know it is big. I know it is big. With the things that he's been revealing to me, I know it's really, really big. But anyway, I just want to share this quick word with everybody, and hope that y'all have a blessed day. And I will leave the link to my GoFundMe account for those who want to sow a seed into my ministry, into what God's doing, because he's doing so many awesome things. I mean, just awesome things. Just amazing, amazing things. And I'll also leave the link, my email address, for those who have prayer requests and want to send a prayer request. Feel free to, because I'm checking my emails all the time. I always check them, and I always respond to them. So if you have a prayer request for yourself, or family member, or a friend, or somebody that needs prayer, send it along, and I will add them to my prayer list, and I will pray for them. And for you, of course, like I always do. And keep y'all uplifted in prayer, because we got to do that. As the body of Christ, we got to keep each other uplifted in prayer. That's really important. But anyway, until next time, I will see you later, and I pray that y'all have a blessed day. Bye-bye.